Hey there, and welcome. Let's be honest, has scheduling a meeting in English ever made you feel, well, a little stuck? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. But the good news is, by the end of this, you're going to have the exact phrases you need to set up any appointment and do it with total confidence. So let's dive right in. Yeah, it can totally feel that way, right? You're trying to find the right words, you're doing that little back and forth dance. It can be a challenge, for sure. But hey, don't worry. We're going to break it all down for you nice and simple, step by step. You'll be handling these conversations like a pro in no time.
Okay, so first things first. Before we start building full sentences, we've got to have the right tools, right? The right vocabulary. So we're going to start with 4 words that are, the absolute building blocks for any conversation about scheduling.
All right, our first keyword is available. It sounds simple, and it is, but it is so useful. All it means is that you're not busy, you've got free time, you're good to go. This is really the word you're hoping to hear.
And here's a perfect way to use it. If you ask, does she have any time available then? That's just a really polite, really direct way to see if someone's free. Simple as that.
Okay, next up is a big one. Double check. Now, this phrase is absolutely crucial if you want to avoid mistakes. It just means you're checking something again, a second time, just to be positive it's correct. And trust me, with dates and times, you always want to be sure.
You're going to hear this one all the time. Let me double check. It's the perfect thing to say when you need to pause for a second, Pull up your calendar and actually confirm if you're free or not.
All right, our third word is scheduled. And this is basically the reason you might not be available. If you've got something scheduled, it just means you already have a plan. You've got a commitment at that specific time. So for example, saying something like, actually, I've got something scheduled on Monday, is a really clear and polite way to explain why that time won't work. See? You're not just saying a flat no. You're giving them a reason.
And for our last key term, we've got a really strong one. Booked solid. This is what you say when you have zero free time. None. Your schedule is just completely full.
Yeah, this phrase kind of shuts the door on negotiation. When you hear someone is booked solid, it means that day is just a complete no-go. It's a super clear way of saying, sorry, I am totally 100% busy. Okay, so now that we've got our core words down, let's actually put them to use. We're going to look at how you kick off the conversation and make that first request. The most important thing here is just being clear, right from the very start. The best, most professional way to do it is to just state your purpose directly, but politely. It really sets a great tone for the whole chat. And honestly, this is the perfect go-to phrase. I'm calling to arrange an appointment with. It's polite, it's professional, and boom, the other person knows exactly why you're calling.
Okay, so now we get to the fun part, the negotiation. That little back and forth to find a time that works for everybody. And this is where that vocabulary we just learned really starts to shine.
I love how this is laid out. On one side, you've got these really simple ways to suggest the time. Stuff like, how's Thursday? And then on the other side, you see the polite ways to respond. And look, there are our new words fitting in perfectly. Actually, I've got something scheduled. Or that really direct one, she's booked solid. At the end of the day, you just have to remember the goal, right? It's all about finding a time that works for everyone. If you can stay a little flexible and use these clear, polite phrases we're talking about, the whole thing will go so much more smoothly. All right, let's bring it all home. Think of this next part as your personal toolkit for scheduling. It's basically a handy little cheat sheet with all the key phrases you're going to need to nail this. So here it is, the whole shebang. To start that call, you're going to say, I'm calling to arrange an appointment. Want to suggest a time? Just ask, how's Monday? Need to see if they're free? Try, do you have any time available? If you're busy, you can say, I've got something scheduled. If you're really busy, go with, I'm booked solid. And finally, to make sure it's all correct, just say, let me double check. Seriously, these phrases are your keys to the kingdom. And really, that's the big takeaway here. You've got the words, you got the opening lines, you've got the phrases to find the right time. You are totally equipped to handle these conversations clearly and professionally. You've got this. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What's the next appointment you're going to schedule using these phrases? Maybe it's for work, maybe it's a doctor's visit, or maybe it's just meeting up with friends. Whatever it is, you now have the tools to do it with confidence. Thanks so much for tuning in.